Hey guys, if you're in the live stream right now, I'm in the process of still setting things up. If you hear, I appreciate it. But just bear with me. That's what I'm doing right now. I decided to just go ahead and start on time as close as I could tonight compared to what's been going on the last few weeks. If you have any comments, I would definitely appreciate them if you appreciate it if you post them so I can respond to any of your questions that you may or may not have, any feedback, et cetera, et cetera. All right. Okay, I got that going on. All right. If you can hear me, please leave a comment and let me know if the volume is good. Can you hear me? And all that other good stuff. So some of this stuff I'm actually doing right now is the stuff that I would have to do prior to the live stream. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to do that. So you're actually getting some sneak peek behind the scenes type stuff that comes along with the whole production of this channel. And that's what this topic is that I'm going to discuss tonight. So on my channel, Original Greatness, I talk about self-improvement and personal development. That's what we focus on. So me discussing YouTube is not just limited to YouTube, because YouTube is a full-time business if you do it correctly. And because it's a full-time business, the principles that you learn to run and do a successful business are the same principles that you would run on YouTube. So if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments so I can see them and I can respond to them to give you an example of how it can apply to another specific business. You may be in something totally different and you can't see from what I'm sharing with you how what I'm saying I'm doing could apply to what you're doing. So that would help me if you left a comment for me to respond to you that way. Now, one of the things, as far as principle wise, that would apply to all businesses is you need to educate yourself. So this book is the most recent book I've read on YouTube. And I'm not sure if you're familiar with me or my channel. So I'll explain something that I've told my viewers before. That I've read over 100 books in the last 2 years. I'm an avid reader. I'm constantly reading. And there was one of the books that I had read was titled How to Get Better at Almost Everything. I can't remember the author's name right now. Shame on me. I think it's Pat Flynn. I think it's Pat Flynn. It's a green and black book. And I don't have it here with me. I wish I did. Excuse me. Let me grab this tea. So we all know we have limited time. We don't have time to waste. So one of the things you can do, and this is principles, you can do multiple things with the same time. So if you were to separate it, let's say you had 3 things you needed to do and each one was going to take you an hour. If you separated them and did them alone, it would take you 3 hours to do it. But if you stacked them, it would take you 1 hour to do it, but you would get 3 things done. That's a principle and a strategy for you to maximize your time. That can be applied in any business. And that's something that I've incorporated into what I'm working on. So one of those is, Cuzzo, I see you, about to pin your message. One of those things is the reading process I was talking about. So for my channel, I wanted to do something called Study Group Live. Now with doing the Study Group Live, the way that would stack would be, I do a live stream, I'm reading, and I can upload the video again after doing some editing, putting an end screen on it, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm doing one thing that puts 3 things getting accomplished in that same period of time. That's what my plan was. Being and so, I'm a father, a husband, a son, where all of these people depend on me, friend, brother, you got a social life. So these people have things going on. You want to be a part of it. These people have things going on where they need you, and that requires your time and energy also. So my mom, for instance, she haven't heard from me all day. She needs groceries. So with me being a business owner and all of these other things I'm telling you, I may have 20 things I need to do that day. And being and so when you're running a business, you always have something to do. Somebody that doesn't run a business or have a business, this might be hard for them to imagine, not having time off. When you own a business, it's nothing in my opinion like a job. When it comes to your mindset, your mindset has to be totally different when it comes to you running a business and working a job. Because a business is yours. The job belongs to somebody else. You know how they call stuff your baby? Like, this is my baby. You care more about it. And it's always something you could do for it or that can be done. So with all of these different moving parts going on in my life or in your life when you're attempting to do this, is that you have to prioritize what's the most important thing you get to do with that time, because your time is limited. So yes, mom needs groceries, but she knows to let me know this before she actually runs out. So she's not out yet. So she's good. But as far as getting them when she wants me to, like at the drop of a hat, I have to prioritize where my time is best spent. So what I attempt to do is to put my time into things that's going to produce the greatest return that spills over into other areas in the long run. So I'll give you an example. Today I did a YouTube short about 3 books that help you be successful in life and in your business. And my cousin, Kevin, I got 2 cousins named Kevin. my cousin in Mississippi named Kevin, he's running his business, and we have conversations about different things to help each other get better. Iron sharpens iron. And I told him, hey, I got some book ideas that can help you. Gave him the titles. He's going to do what he needs to do for him to purchase them. Remember, we talked about stacking and getting the most out of something. Well, now I'm an Amazon affiliate. So if I use my Amazon links and put them in my content and then make content about helping multiple people that may be having the same issue with a YouTube short, that advice goes further. Also in the description, I'm putting affiliate links to the same videos not videos, the same books that I recommended to him. So now not only can he use the affiliate links, but other people can use the affiliate links. So those principles I'm applying to YouTube, but this is the same type of thought process you should have with any business that you're doing. And you also need to understand, if you haven't thought about it or nobody's ever told you, you yourself are a business. The way you run your life, the way you manage your relationships, the way you manage your time, the way you manage your finances. And this is why I believe personally that everybody should be taught about business, because it's so similar to the principles and the things that you would learn how to do, to understand that these are the same things that you need to run your life. It's the same skills. It translates right into the same thing. So that's what's been going on with that. So you can take that to heart for the skills with that. So like right now, it's 11 p.m. at night. And let me talk to you a little bit about that. So I have to get sleep wherever I can find it. I have to find peace wherever I can find it. So one of the things that I was incorporating into my schedule was me working out and taking care of my health. I felt like I had a great grip on what was going on with YouTube, and I did at that period of time. And that's the other thing that we need to be aware of when it comes to principles. Some stuff that works now doesn't mean it's going to work tomorrow. It doesn't fit. You elevate it, you moved. It's a different season. And sometimes we get stuck in doing something a certain way because of the amount of time we've been doing it, or because we were producing a certain results at that time that made sense. So we just in the habit of thinking it's going to continue to work. But in reality, it's not working no more because other conditions have changed. You just haven't changed yet. So the goal that I was working on before with YouTube was to grow my subscribers, my audience. The goal was to get 1,000 subscribers. Right now we're at, wait a minute, the sound is super high, guys. I'm glad I seen it. It was red. This should fix it. Like that, for instance, when I did the YouTube short earlier, the volume levels for the mic was different. It's a different setting than for the live stream. So what businesses do, they create systems. And when they create these systems, matter of fact, I'm going to use aviation as an example. A pilot has a checklist of everything they check on that aircraft before they take off. They look at all these things. It's a routine. So the idea is, as long as they do this routine over and over again, chances of them making a mistake or missing something are slim to none. So with starting my own business and running my own business, I have to create those systems. I have to create that checklist. And that takes time. Let me put this watch on. That takes time. So with that taking time, if I'm creating these systems, that means I'm not doing something else. I'm not dadding. I'm not husbanding. I'm not sonning. I'm not friending. I'm not cousining. I'm not boyfriending. Whatever the relationship is you can think of that would take time away from you doing something else, that's what you're not doing. Those things that you would spend that time on produce a return that would free you up to create more time to do those other things that you would rather be doing. You rather would be doing that. But and then with where I'm at with YouTube, I really enjoy it. I really enjoy it. And I don't want it to get to a point where it feels like work. But I have to be able to be mentally strong enough to deal with whatever we got going on when this camera is off, to be able to still show up so the subscribers that I do have can trust me. So when I tell you, hey, I'm going to have the study group live done on this day, I'm going to have the thumbnails done on this day, I'm going to have this done on this day, I'm telling you the truth when I say it. I didn't know that I was going to need to pick my son up from school because they called me saying something was going on. I didn't know that my wife was going to need me for something. I didn't know engagements was going to come up to where it would be somebody would take it tough if I didn't show up. Like my presence is valued for what I was called for or asked to be at. Like it's a major situation or event or a special occasion that people really want you to be. I didn't know all of those things. I didn't know that I was going to have to do whatever came up. Let's just say that. So at the time you saying it, you meaning it because you seeing your schedule be open enough to be like, nah, I know doggone well, that's more than enough time for me to be able to do that. So yeah. Then you look up and you like, oh my gosh, it's the day of this day I said I was going to have this done. So this book right here. Now I'm going to tell you about what I learned from reading over 100 books within that 2-year period. In life, and I hit this mic, in life, the most important stuff is usually right in front of you. It's right there. It's usually right there. The most important stuff, principle-wise. That's what I've seen. But in books, they reverse it. The most important stuff you need to know in a book is usually towards the end of the book. Now, the reason why is if they put everything you was looking for at the beginning of a book, you're not going to read it. That's the idea. If you're thinking about it like that from a marketing standpoint, there's no reason for you to read the book all the way to the end when everything you was looking for was right at the beginning. So I knew that already in the process of reading this book. Now, with people thinking that YouTube is an easy, quick, get rich thing and easy money, if a book has 15 chapters, and remember I told you with books, the important stuff is at the end, and money is chapter 6, that tells you something. It told me that making money on YouTube is the easy part, but it's something else that requires a lot more time and a lot more energy and a lot more effort that's beyond this chapter 6. It's deeper in the book. I have no idea what it is yet because everybody usually just focuses on the money part. But from my experience from reading, I'm intrigued. Now I got to find out what it is. And boy, oh boy, was I blown away when I found out what it actually was. And what it was that you need a team. You need a team of people in order for you to be successful with YouTube. That's the idea. Now, let me elaborate on what this is. When I say team, this doesn't have to be you hiring a whole bunch of people. And remember, this is the same concept with any business. The idea of you running a business is you want this business to be able to be successful, whether you're there actually working or not. It has become self-sufficient. You're going to have to hire people or have people working with you or for you in order for that to take place. So where I am, not only do I now have a team where I haven't hired anybody yet, he talks about that in the book where he's saying it doesn't have to be somebody you paying when you're starting off. It starts off with your relatives. It starts off with your significant other. It starts off with your son, your neighbor. Anything you could think of that could save you time, that it wouldn't take you to do something else because your business takes you. It actually takes you to run that business. But this other stuff that people focus on and give all this attention to in the day, they don't understand the value of their time. So like, I give you an example. And this is before I started reading books like Forbes magazines, publications, watching behind the scenes footage and actually getting a view of how wealthy people spend their time and why they do it that way and what are they actually really doing. So a person with a limited mindset or a poverty mindset, they're programmed to think about saving money or they can't afford something. Their whole idea is I can't afford it or I'm trying to save from spending it. So they're looking at cleaning up around the house, washing dishes, cooking, grocery shopping, picking up the kids from school, getting the car washed, cutting the grass. They're looking at all of that as saving money. That's how they see it, saving money, and I can't afford to have somebody else do it, so I'm going to do it myself so I can save money. What they not realizing is that all of that stuff they think they saving money on, they spending time on. You spending time on it. So when you really ask yourself, does it really take you to cut the grass? Does it really take you to cook the dinner? Does it really take you to go grocery shopping? Does it really take you to go get the car washed? So if you really think about it that way, it doesn't take you to do it. It just needs to get done. So people with a wealthy mindset, or they understand, hey, I need to outsource this. I need to delegate this to somebody else so I can free up my time. Now they spend that time they're saving on doing something that produces a large return, or a return that's worth more than outsourcing whatever they delegated. Case in point, if I have something where I can make $3,000 in 3 hours, what is it for me to pay somebody $200 or $100 for them to take care of the stuff at the house for 3 hours? Landscaping, grocery shopping. They have companies that do meal preps now because they understand that some people want to save that time. It's a trade-off. Man, that's money. I'm not spending money on meal prep. That's saving you money on grocery shopping and cooking. So now you can focus on other things without sacrificing a good meal, a healthy meal. You don't have to try to figure it out. They already did all of that for you. So you're not even spending the mental power on trying to figure those things out. It's a whole bunch of benefits that come along with you understanding the value of your time and how you can protect it. And that's a business principle. So when we was talking about the team, your significant other, them keeping the kids out of the space for you to be able to operate, them taking on some of the responsibilities of the business, checking the emails, taking some calls, even running the chat, any type of thing that reduces the load on one person, but where everybody benefits, is a win-win. And for me to find that in the back of that book, honestly, guys, I was heartbroken because I know that's one of the main things that I struggle with. And it's tough when you have a vision and the majority of the people you know, or the world, or the people you come in contact with, or however you want to word it, they operate from a they have to see it to believe it concept. And something I laugh about, that I have to stay humble about, is that even Jesus' disciples seen him do miracles all the time and they didn't believe him. It was like, so if Jesus couldn't get somebody to believe in it, Peter see Jesus walking on water, he's questioning it. He's like, if that's you, Jesus, then let me walk on water. He rose from the dead, and I don't remember what disciple it was, but he didn't want to, he couldn't believe it. He said, let me stick my hand through your finger in the womb. And was like, well, they was actually with Jesus and couldn't believe it. So who am I? I have to keep that in mind to try to stay humble enough to be forgiving and open-minded with the fact that regardless if that's what I'm dealing with, if I want what I want bad enough, I'm going to find a way to keep going. I'm going to find a way to keep showing up. I can't keep begging people for permission for me to be successful. It's not their vision, it's mine. And then some people learn or operate on their own time clock, they own time horizon. It might take them longer for them to figure something out. It may take them longer to try to realize something. I can't do that for them, but I can focus on the things that I have control over. And that's how I respond to the challenges that I'm going to face or that I'm facing. And that's a principle that I want you to learn and pick up and find value in from this channel. You got to do it. So it's not just about YouTube again. These are principles that can be applied to any business that you're doing. And one of the things that I recommend for whatever field you're in is for you to read 3 books on specifically what you plan on doing. That will give you a great rounded view, a multiple perspective of what you need to work on and what you need to do to be successful in that. So for instance, right behind me, I'm not sure if you can't see it in this vertical shot. I'm going to reload this cuz laughing. I'm going to reload this live stream as a full video so you can see what's going on in the background. So I had a choice to make. I'm going to tell you what's going on about this choice. I had to make a decision. Was I going to be late tonight and to have all the lights and everything set up to where it was supposed to be? Or was I going to show up late and just have everything all over the place? I decided to just show up late and have stuff all over the place based on the fact that it's real. I need you guys to see that this is real. This is real, 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 real. So what I'm doing right now, I didn't even promote tonight. I didn't even promote tonight. So I'm about to tell Facebook, hey, tune in. I'm about to send them a link right now. Boom. All right. So we got that going on Facebook. So now they know to tune in. Okay. So remember, let's go back to the stacking. One of the things with the stacking was the study group live. I wasn't getting any books read because the stars were not aligning for me to be able to sit down at this desk, had a book ready, have some type of quietness in the house, have things set up for me to be able to sit down and read for an hour. Because I wasn't able to do it the way I wanted to do with the stacking, I wasn't reading at all. Now with not reading at all, I'm not getting anything done at all when it comes to reading. So that was something that I learned. Hey, in the situations where you do want to stack and get multiple things done to maximize your time, that sounds good. But if you see that you cannot get in a position for that to take place, then you have to just keep it spread it out. I don't have an actual mentor that I talk to on a regular basis that can point out some of these things for me and say, hey, Joe, this is what you need to do here. I know you want to do the live streams where you're doing your study group live and reading, but you set a goal this year for you to read 60 books. And these books that you need to read is actually going to help you with what you're working on right now. These books that you need to read are actually going to help you with what you're working on right now. So if you can't sit in front of the camera and read, don't worry about that part. You need to make sure you read. So that's what I started to do. And wouldn't you know it, I got the book read. And it's a lot easier to do with a physical book. And I know people try to go with the audio books. They try to go with the digital books. Let me tell you why I believe this is a bad idea. There are too many distractions on your phone. That's one. There's way too many distractions on your phone for you to think that it's some type of benefit for you to be trying to listen to a book. Also, we have multiple senses. I'm going to hit you with some science real quick. If you listening to an audio book, you're only getting what you're learning in your ears. You don't see what that word look like. You're not learning how to spell it. You're not learning how to pronounce it. You just hearing it. And then when you hear words that you don't know the definition of, if you're hearing words that you don't know the definition of, and you just listen and let them flow past, you're not really getting the most of what you can get out of that book. And if you doing other stuff, you cooking, you working, you driving, it's not the same thing when you actually sitting still and you digesting the content from what you're reading. Also, we have opportunities to spend our time all the time, but we miss it because we got this device right here in our hand. That's why we miss it. We got the phone in our hand. So the first thing we do 9 times out of 10, when we got some extra time on our hands, we go on social media. So if you carrying around a physical book, it's a constant reminder, hey, I need to read this book. It's a constant reminder, I need to read. I need to read this book, whatever the book is. It's a constant reminder, hey, I need to read. But when you got a phone in your hand, it's a constant reminder, hey, I need to talk to somebody. I need to see what such and such is doing. So it's a psychological thing that you're battling too when you're trying to get this information from phones. You need a physical book. Also, what physical books do for you, when you carrying them with you, they open up opportunities to talk to people. It's a conversation piece. When you walk into a room and you got all these books on your phone, you look like everybody else because you just got a phone in your hand. When you walk into a room of people and you carrying books or you got books, you don't look like everybody else because they're not taking advantage of that. Now somebody say, hey man, what's that about? What you reading? That sounds interesting. Where'd you get that from? Who is that written by? What's the most interesting thing you read in there so far? How often do you read? Where did you get that book from? Oh, you do YouTube? What do you talk about on your channel? You just carrying a book and reading it that opened up a possibility for all of these opportunities. But instead, you're looking for convenience, or you think it's convenience, when it's the lowest way, in my opinion, to learn anything, which is using a digital thing, just walking around with a phone looking like everybody else. So I haven't really shared that perspective with people as much as I would like to and how I would like to, because I've been waiting on the stars to align for me to make a full YouTube video about digital books versus physical books, which is something we still gonna do, but that's why you haven't heard about it yet. I keep turning back because I'm trying to set these lights up. And it don't look like it's working right, but hey. So I didn't get all lights set up before we went live. There's the plant light that I have been working on. And then I didn't cut my candles on. So yeah, it's just a whole bunch of stuff with that. What else did I want to cover with you guys tonight? So we like 35 minutes in. I explained the study group live stuff. Okay, so let's talk about the reading. So I have a Goodreads account, and I set a goal to read 60 books this year. Did some research and found out that an average person, or the average person, reads 1 book a year, which is an amazing stat to me because it also gives me more evidence from what I've seen with working on myself that the bar to be successful is set really low. If you want to be successful, it really don't take that much effort because the average person don't really do that much. You just got to do a little bit more than the average person, which is hilarious if you really think about it, because it shows you that it really ain't even that hard to be successful. Ooh, wait. So if the average person reads 1 book a year, how many books do you need to be above average? 2. 2 books. Now you want to hear something else scary? What if you don't read 1 book a year? When's the last time you actually read a book? Especially the way I'm saying it, not playing an audiobook. Think about how we And that's another reason why I'm such an advocate of reading. Because when you actually read, you can't ask the author, hey, what did you mean by that? You have to read between the lines and actually use the text you see and unpack and process and comprehend what's actually being said. So when you said you read an audiobook, that's a lie. You listened to an audiobook. You cannot read an audiobook. You can't. But it's become so normalized with people saying it that it sounds like that's what we actually doing, but that's not what we doing. You are listening to a book. You are not reading it. And when you read something, that's different from listening to it. The same way when you wash something, that's different from rinsing it. It's different. It's a different context. So you get less out of it when you listening to it versus when you read it. And I'm going to be honest with you. What I just did was forget what I was telling you that. I really did. Oh, we was talking about Goodreads. So working towards that goal of the 60 books a year, I was able to get to 2 books. So according to that statistic, I'm already above average. But that's not what we're trying to do. We're not competing with other people. And this is something that came to me this week. This is a nugget. I want you to get this. Don't compete, create. Don't compete, create. Don't look at what somebody else is doing and try to do what they're doing better than them. Create your own way, your own style of doing something. Create. You set the trend. Make people want to copy you. Make them look to see what you're doing. You lead the way. Don't compete, create. And when you measure yourself against something, measure yourself against yourself. When you step on the scale, you're checking your weight against your last weight. You're not checking your weight against somebody else's weight. If somebody else's weight is 400 pounds and yours is 300, that look good. But if your last weight was 250 and now it's 300, now it look bad. You measure yourself against you. If you did 10 videos and you didn't do and your last, well, you're not going to do 10 at one time. So look at a measure of time. So in 1 month you did 2 videos and in another month you do 10 videos. That's your measurement against one another. But now you go look at another YouTuber channel, somebody else's channel, and you say, but they did 50 videos. Now you're in the mindset of competing and you measuring yourself against them. You don't know about the team. Remember we talked about the teams? They have different variables. They may have their structure set up better than yours. They may have delegated some of the things that's not taking up some of their time for them to focus in a way where they're producing more content than you. You don't know what is going on with them, but you know what's going on with you. So you can make adjustments within your own stuff to try to perform better than you did before. And remember, these are principles. So whatever it is you desire to do, whether that's in your business, as a father, as a mother, a spouse, how well did I do the last time me and my wife had a conversation? How did I do the last time me and my son had a conversation? How did I do the last time I did a YouTube short? How did I do the last time I delivered this package? How did I do? And as long as you can start working on becoming a little bit better of you, like a better version of you in these different areas, and you continue to work on that little by little, a little adds up to a lot over time. I'm going to say that again. A little adds up to a lot over time. When we look at what somebody else has going on and where they're at, it looks like a lot because we're comparing it, or we might be comparing it to where we are. And when we consider what they have a lot, we really looking at the distance of the gap between them and us. The bigger that gap between ourselves and this other person, we see what they accomplished. We see what they accomplished as a lot. But if we focus on ourselves, we can start to do the little stuff and compound it, build on a little here, a little there, a little here, a little there, a little here, a little there. Time gonna keep going as long as you keep on living. Unless you plan on leaving anytime soon. So today turns into 3 years later. And you've been doing a little bit over the course of 3 years repetitively. Over that 3 years, that little bit you've been doing, a little bit, a little bit more. Now it's a lot. And now other people looking at that gap because now they comparing themselves to you. But you know that's not the key. The key is for you to focus on where you at, what you doing, what you need to be working on, what you need to be reading, who you need to be listening to, and who you need to be spending your time with. That's another great thing that I learned from this book, and I almost just put my eye out, swinging it up. But he said, great people, roughly paraphrasing, great people surround themselves with geniuses. He quoted scripture in the book. Iron sharpens iron. You want to put yourself around people that's going to push you. You want to put yourself around people that's going to challenge you. You don't want to be around people that just tell you what you want to hear, because you only getting your perspective back to you doesn't show you something you didn't see. You need a contrast. You can't see how bad something is until you see how good something is. You need a difference. You can't see how heavy something is if you haven't seen how light something can be. You need a contrast. You don't know how bright a light is if you've never been in the dark. That one was probably a bad example because even in lights, they have different intensities of lights. But if you've never been in the dark, you don't know how dark it can get if you've always been in the light. Let's look at it that way, because you can't get no darker than pitch black. Dark is gone. If you've never been in the heat, and if you just been in heat, you don't know anything about cold. You have to have a contrast. So the more people you talk to that have a great way of communicating, who have a great way of using their imagination, thinking outside of the box, looking at things from different angles, they may be able to present something to you you didn't consider or you didn't see. And that's extremely valuable if you're serious and intentful about working on yourself and becoming better. If you got somebody patting you on your back when you don't need it, there's nothing coming at you saying, hey, you need to work on yourself. Good job. Good job. Good job. Think about that. If somebody was messing up all the time and they just got good job and a pat on their back all the time, what that would do for them. They would probably fall out with the first person that actually told them the truth. And it doesn't have to be a rude way. It's just, hey, let me talk to you about something. You know that thing you did last time? I think it was a better way for you to be able to do that. Let's look at some different ways. Maybe it could have been done like this. Maybe it could have been done like that. And the whole time you're talking to this person, because they've been lied to or told good job all the time, they are looking to hear you say good job. And while you talking, all they thinking to themselves is, why is this person not telling me a good job? I hear I'm doing a good job all the time. Why they not telling me? That doesn't mean that because you've heard something all the time, that it's actually true. You probably need to pay attention to it, though, because if you've got multiple people telling you the same thing in different situations, you might want to take a hard look in the mirror. That's another principle. But you need to look at it. You shouldn't be afraid of it. Because if it's true, then it's going to hold up. If it's a lie, it's going to fall. It's going to crumble. It's going to reveal itself. Your feelings ain't got nothing to do with it. Your feelings ain't got nothing to do with it. So I wanted to plan this live stream tonight, and I never really got around to it. I wanted to make sure I had a thumbnail. I wanted. Didn't play out that way. But I do believe over the next couple of days and weeks that I will be able to accomplish a lot more and get a lot more things organized. I do have a long format video where I have my son on there. He had a ball. I'm gonna post some of the pictures that we didn't use for a thumbnail on some social media platforms, so you guys can check that out. I think that'd be real fun because he was having a ball. I got some content that is not complete that I'm gonna be working on, but we really need to get this long format video and content out. And I'm gonna start sharing some of that stuff on the channel, even though it's not what we're focusing on. We're not just focusing on YouTube, we're focusing on principles. So I'm gonna show you some of the stuff that I'm working on dealing with YouTube, and I'm gonna discuss how this principle or how principles applies to something you see me doing for the business that I'm working on. So you can think of ways, or you can ask comments or put comments in the description down there to try to figure out, hey, how does this apply to me? So my vision for this channel moving forward is that on these late night lives, as the community grows, this will be where people can show up and ask me questions in real time, tell me about what's going on with them in real time, tell me a little bit about their business, where they from, where they see themselves, some of the problems or challenges that they're dealing with, and see if it's some ideas or experiences that I have or that I've been through that I could share with them. Okay, so I want to say thank you to my cousin, Kevin. I want to say thank you to my mother. You guys have been extremely supportive with showing up to the lives. I really appreciate you. And not just the lives like here, but in my life. So I sincerely appreciate you guys. And this is early. This is early in the journey, and I'm appreciating everything that I'm dealing with because it's going to make everything so much sweeter once things become smoother. Because if I was able to do all of this when things was rough, I knew I'm gonna be a bad when I have some help. So I don't even know if I got all my stuff I use to do my clothes, but I'm gonna see if I can find it real quick. Because if I can, then we can go ahead and do that now. But I'm about to wrap this thing up, guys. Just looking for it. Here it goes. As we bring this episode to a close. There we go. So as we bring this episode to a close, let's switch over to the other prompter. There we go. All right. So as we bring this episode to a close, I want you to always remember that the school system does not have a monopoly on education, and that being educated and informed is your own responsibility. I appreciate you. Like, comment. I love to hear from you. Take care, and God bless. Have a good night. Appreciate you guys.